My name is Major Nolan Plate, and I'm the Operations Flight Commander at Air Force ROTC Detachment 595, and I would like to welcome each of you to the Spring 2025 Commissioning Ceremony. At this time, please stand for the arrival of the official party, the playing of ruffles and flourishes, and the playing of the national anthem, and the delivery of the invocation.
Colors. Post. Detail. Halt. Present. Arms. Right shoulder. Palms. Ready. Cut. Mark time. March. Up. 2, 3, 4. Colors. Post. Forward. March. Up. 2, 3, 4. Up. 2, 3, 4.
Please bow your heads for a moment of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, Thank you for bringing us together on this wonderful day. Here before us now are the amazing men and women that have taken the brave step to serve and defend our great nation. Through support of their family and friends, you have guided their every step to this moment. Father, we ask as they take this next step in their life that you protect and guide them through everything that they may face. We ask that you give them the wisdom, strength, and courage to uphold the values that have been instilled within them. We pray for your blessings on this ceremony and on the futures of these young men and women. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Cadet Snyder. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Today, we recognize 14 cadets as they prepare to become second lieutenants in the United States Air Force and the United States Space Force. They have proven themselves as leaders of character and now have the distinct honor of being recognized in front of their family, friends, peers, and mentors who have supported them through this incredible journey. At this time, I would like to introduce the members of our official party. Please hold your applause until each one has been introduced. Our guest speaker, United States Army Lieutenant General retired, Jody Daniels. The commander of Detachment 595, Professor of Aerospace Studies, and presiding officer for today's event, Lieutenant Colonel Sarah Bergkamp. The Vice Chancellor Emeritus for Academic and Student Affairs, Dr. Thomas H. Stafford, Jr. We would also like to recognize our Detachment 595 cadre, as well as family and friends of our graduating cadets who are joining us in person and via live stream today. At this time, I invite forward our detachment commander, Lieutenant Colonel Bergkamp, for her opening remarks.
Good morning, everybody. It's my pleasure to have everyone here today joining us on such a momentous occasion for our 14 commissionees. Before I speak to the journeys that these cadets have been on to reach this point, I'd first like to thank a few individuals for their support of our Air Force ROTC program. To begin with, Dr. Stafford. Dr. Stafford's retired from NC State, but during his tenure was the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, a role in which he not only oversaw ROTC, but made sure it prospered. Though he is now retired, he has a definite passion for ROTC and continues to support our program to include a special tradition he hosts for each of the NCSU ROTC commissionees on the eve of their commissioning ceremony. He'll expound upon that tradition here in a moment, but I just wanted to say thank you for your contribution and recognizing the significance of this milestone for our commissionees and for making this occasion just that much more meaningful for them. Next, Dr. Zapata. Dr. Zapata unfortunately could not be here in attendance today, though I know that she wanted to. And though she's not here, I still want to publicly recognize how she and therefore the university truly support our cadets and what we do in Air Force ROTC. Dr. Zapata is the Senior Associate Vice Chancellor within the Division of Academic and Student Affairs, otherwise known as DASA, which the ROTC programs now fall under. Dr. Zapata is a strong advocate for our program, taking care of our cadets, whether that's through facilitating connections within DASA or other divisions that help us serve our cadets, or advocating for resources, be it facility or financial, or helping us as military to speak the language of the university in order to get stuff done. We couldn't do what we do in this ROTC detachment without the strong support of the university that she ensures. So I want to give a big thanks to her and essentially the university for that never-ending support. Lieutenant General Retired Daniels, we're honored to have you with us here today. Thank you for coming out and for being our guest speaker. And though you're retired, taking the time to bring your plethora of experience and wisdom to impart not just on our commissionees, but on all of us. Thank you. Our commissionees, the reason we're all here, you all have worked hard to get to this point in your cadet careers, the point where you take the oath of office and transition from cadets to commissioned officers in the Air Force. I don't know how much of your cadets' experience you've shared with family and friends that are here with you today, but in case you haven't told them, I will. What we have asked of your cadets during this time in ROTC has been significant. On paper, the process to get here is seemingly simple. Sign up for a couple extra classes, about 2 to 4 credit hours a semester, and do a couple 1-hour mandatory workouts each week. Along the way, the Air Force will give you a scholarship to pay for at least a couple years of school. Then after 3.5 to 5 short years in the program, and at the end of college, you'll graduate with a degree and a guaranteed job. On paper, it sounds easy. The reality is, and what I know that our commissionees know to be true, what we've asked of them and what you guys have experienced is so much more than what it seems on paper. From the very beginning of your time in Air Force ROTC, we ask you to embrace and live by our Air Force core values. As junior cadets, we ask you to dedicate several hours a week outside of the classroom in Lead Lab to learning our Air Force history and military knowledge. And then, as you progress through the program and became more senior cadets, we ask you to be leaders and to take care of your underclassmen and wingmen. You had to train and mentor the more junior cadets. You had to organize, advise, support, problem solve, and run the cadet wing along with your fellow upperclassmen peers. And all along the way, we demanded you hold yourself and your fellow cadets accountable, all while doing all the other things involved with college life: school, work, pursuing your hobbies, and having a social life. As I said, so much more than what's on paper. So I'd love to go one by one and highlight the accomplishments of each of the cadets commissioning today. Unfortunately, our timeline for the ceremony just does not allow that. What I will do is say that each of these cadets commissioning today has earned their commission. They have risen to every occasion and role that we've put them in, and they've grown in tangible as well as intangible ways. Commissionees, as cadre, our job is to prepare you to be officers in the profession of arms, to be ready not just with the theoretical knowledge, but hands-on experience in leading and taking care of people so that you can immediately take on those roles as leaders for your airmen, even as second lieutenants. From the cadre perspective, you have all proven you're ready to make the transition from ROTC cadet to Air Force officer. You've earned your commission. You have the tools and the foundation you need. Go make us Det 595 and the Air Force proud. Should have written it down. Dr. Stafford, I'd like to welcome you up to the podium.
Cadets, you're looking mighty good this morning. You have less than 1 hour to be a cadet. So congratulations a little bit ahead of time. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here today for this very important event. A wonderful tradition for Air Force ROTC at NC State continues today. Yesterday afternoon, cadets to be commissioned met me at the Memorial Bell Tower. We unlocked the door and entered. The shrine room was dark, and when I turned on the lights beside the plaque, the names of the NC State alumni who died while in military service during World War I came into view. Each cadet placed his or her gold bars below the sacred plaque and honored the men who are remembered on that plaque with a hand salute. We left and locked the door, and your bars spent the night inside the bell tower, inside the shrine room. The Memorial Bell Tower is the most beautiful, the most iconic, and the most sacred place on our campus. It is a sacred military memorial. There is no better place anywhere on our campus for your gold bars to spend the night. This morning, we removed your gold bars to prepare them for this ceremony today. Last night, as darkness fell upon the tower, your bars remained illuminated by the lights around the plaque. The room was quiet, but something very mysterious was about to happen. As the bell tower clock struck midnight, your bars felt the presence of a powerful force. The spirit of Wolfpack warriors had entered the shrine room, and this spirit changed your bars forever. A bond, a powerful connection to all past Wolfpack warriors was established. The military history and traditions of NC State and the core values of the U.S. Air Force, integrity and first, service before self, and excellence in all we do, were infused into your bars. NC State's long and very proud history of preparing outstanding leaders for our nation's military is now a part of your bars and of you. And today you carry on that long and proud tradition when you take the oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. The gold bars that you will soon wear may look like the bars of all the other lieutenants, but yours are different, and you know why. I thank you for your commitment to serve, and I wish you all the best. Wear your gold bars with Wolfpack pride, and may the spirit of the Wolfpack warriors be with you forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stafford. It is now my honor to introduce our guest speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Lieutenant General Jody Daniels.
Just like the others, good morning. Good morning. Okay, there is an audience out there. Y'all were a little quiet the first couple times. So I want to thank you all, for letting me come and participate in this time-honored tradition. It's especially exciting to be here today for the culmination of the ROTC experience and to welcome some new officers into the total force. Family and friends, thank you for your support and encouragement along the way. No doubt you played a significant role in shaping the young men and women standing or sitting at the moment right before us here. You've entrusted the Air Force with your sons, daughters, and loved ones, and I can assure you that they have been in excellent hands. Thanks to the faculty, the cadre, and support staff for their investment in the success of these future leaders here at North Carolina State University. Colonel Bergkamp, you and your cadre have done a fantastic job. I can't wait to see how they do next. Cadets, it is an honor to be here today to witness your first day as officers in the world's greatest Air Force and Space Force. And I'm an Army officer, okay? So that's saying a lot right there. Air Force ROTC, as you may know, is the Air Force's largest officer-producing organization with over 1 million men and women earning their commissions as second lieutenants since its inception in 1916. Some notable officers, Air Force officers, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, at least 5 Air Force Chiefs of Staff, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and then 5 Air Force Chiefs, at least 5 that I could find. I'm sure there's probably more I didn't find. A space shuttle pilot, a space shuttle crew member, a flight director for space missions who did over 33 of those, multiple members of Congress. And even closer to home, your program here at NCSU has some seriously distinguished alumni, including the current 4-star commander of Strategic Command, or STRATCOM, and the current Assistant Adjutant General for Air and Commander of the North Carolina Air National Guard. So today, you all become a part of that legacy. Through your foundational training, you've established and achieved a common and shared goal, serving the nation as commissioned officers. Your program came with an intense focus on teamwork, leadership, followership, and communication. And you've created some strong bonds throughout all of your shared experiences. And I'm not just talking about the time you spent hanging out studying, relaxing, enjoying snacks from the Arnold Air Society snack bar, honing your skills on the fight simulator, or all the foosball tournaments. I'm talking about the time that you spent earning the German Armed Forces Proficiency Badge, or attending an immersive cyber education program, learning to fly a glider, or any of the other many events, exercises, and experiences that you've had over the past few years. The bonds that you formed will last a lifetime. To your left, right, and forward back are the teammates that you can rely on as you take your next steps towards becoming an officer. Whether you're headed to your first assignment on active duty or moving on to your chosen career field in munitions and missile maintenance, force support, logistics, as a civil or developmental engineer, a pilot or remotely flying aircraft. Yes, I got all of your specialties in there. I don't think I missed anybody. The leadership and technical skills that you've gained will take you far beyond the boundaries of this campus. Your next steps will be exciting and challenging as you commission and take charge of America's most important asset, your people. I want you to remember how teamwork and keeping faith with your fellow cadets enabled your unit to perform as one and excel both physically and academically. And remember those people who set the example for you, because soon there will be people from all walks of life looking to you for guidance. They're going to be looking for encouragement, mentoring, counseling, and intent, in addition to leadership. So for me, my career can be traced to mentors who took the time to encourage me to follow a path I might otherwise not have taken. As junior officers, you should seek counsel and guidance and leverage the experience of leaders that you admire, regardless of their rank. One of my first mentors was my boss for my first assignment out at Fort Huachuca, Arizona. During a conversation, he said to me, "You should go and get a master's degree. You should go to grad school." And I'm like, "What?" No, actually, you should go and get a PhD. Total shock, surprise to me. I was like, "What? You think I should go to more schooling? I mean, college, not far in the rearview mirror. Grad school?" So yeah, did I really want more of that? But his confidence in my abilities and his planting of that seed in my mind, put it on my radar where it had never been before. So the fact that his confidence in me, that became sort of in my potential. He had lots of thoughts about my potential. That became a life changer. His encouragement and faith set me on a completely different path than I had ever envisioned. In later years, I did go back to school, and I did earn a master's and a PhD. Therefore, my advice to you all is to consider where you want to be 2 assignments from now. Not 1, but 2. Okay, that may seem kind of far away, but it really isn't. And then, as you think about the various positions and opportunities that are out there for that second position, think about what you may need to get there, whether it's additional training, particular skills, flight hours, things that you may require, and then make that happen. Ask others for their advice as to what that second position could or should be for you. And then do the same thing for your airmen or guardians as they look to you for advice. Ask them what they think they want to be 2 positions for now. Offer up your thoughts on their potential, their strengths, and what they could or should do next, and then the position after that. Who knows how that conversation may positively change their lives? And as you look to the future, don't hyper-focus on your weaknesses. That won't be productive. If you have a deficiency of some sort, yeah, okay, fix that part. But amplify your strengths. Focus on those. That's what makes you you, and be your authentic self. In a slightly different vein, as a young company commander, I had a sergeant, E5 sergeant, who was a complete straight shooter. No holds barred, no holding back on his opinions, beliefs, thoughts. He would throw it out there. And that was actually, pretty good, because every now and then I was getting, as a company commander, I was getting ready to screw something up. And he would go, and I'm like, oh. And I'd have that conversation. He'd explain to me why, what it was I was about to do wrong. I'm like, oh, okay, great. But that mentorship, that counseling from my junior person, my sergeant, kept me from some mistakes, and I had fewer than my fair share. So I have to thank him for that. So as a young leader, I highly recommend that you make a point of seeking out, finding, and welcoming that person or people who will be honest with you, and thank them for their brutal and sincere honesty. No one wants to be that emperor with no clothes. Each of you will have a unique military career, whether you serve on active duty, in the Air National Guard, member of the Air Force Reserve, or have some combination of service. In my case, I did 7.5 years on active duty, and then I transitioned to the Army Reserve. Interestingly enough, when I made the transition, one of the reasons was that I wasn't convinced I wanted to make the Army a career. See how that worked out? Okay. Each of you brings skills, talents, experience, backgrounds, perspectives that the Air and the Space Force each need and welcome. They value the range of experiences that you will each bring to the total force. It's through these differences and all of your collective experiences and your foundational training that we have the finest Air Force and Space Forces in the world. Our Air Force has over 200 different career fields in which to excel. The Space Force has another 19. Many of you will have an opportunity to work in more than one field. I spent the majority of my time as an intelligence officer. I also trained to be a civil affairs officer and spent some of my career in training-related positions. It's through this range of experiences that I believe that I'm successful in rising to the 3-star rank. So don't shy away from position because you think you don't know anything about it. Approach it from a growth mindset. Consider it an opportunity to learn. After being an intelligence officer for about 10 years, I went to that civil affairs training, and then a couple of months later, once again a novice, I found myself deployed to a hilltop in Kosovo. I was in Pristina, living in a tent. That was a bit of a shock. Not just the tent living, but the change from my intelligence background to now being a civil affairs officer. So you tell no one, intel officers were very secretive, tell no one anything. Civil affairs officers, tell everybody everything. That was a mental shift I had to go through, but that deployment really had a huge impact on how I approached life and how I approached myself as a professional, as I more carefully thought about who needed to know what, and I became more aware of who needed to be brought into our analyses and things of that sort. So that transition, that other experience, that broadening experience, really made me a much better officer. I became better at critical thinking, better at ensuring mission success, because I took a stretch position and I grew. So remember I mentioned being your authentic self a little bit earlier? And I also talked about the sergeant who was trying to help me make fewer mistakes. I'm going to sort of bring both of those together in my next story. So even with that sergeant's help in tutoring and counseling, I did make some missteps along the way in my career. I had a really glorious one during my deployment over to Iraq. I was a senior intelligence officer in my command. I was always the first briefer up to the boss in the morning. So you start off his morning with that update. For some reason, I decided that one day I needed to be funny. I needed to tell jokes, and don't ask me why, but I felt compelled to be funny. Needless to say, I'm not someone who has a lot of jokes at the ready. I can be highly sarcastic, but I'm not known for being funny. So you can imagine how that glorious briefing went. Yes, there are those awkward, uncomfortable silences. But I kept trying. I kept digging in, kept doing it more. I briefed a couple more items that I thought would get a laugh. I was so wrong. But it wasn't fun for anybody, and especially me. So what did I learn from that great experience? I learned that it was better to be my authentic self, just be me, and then rather than try and be a comedian. I also learned that generals can express a lot of emotion without ever yelling or making you feel like an idiot. Because my boss, coincidentally at the time, was at the point, he was a 3-star. His name was Lieutenant General Petraeus. And so we are still in touch to this day. And I never felt compelled again to tell any jokes at a briefing. And you notice I did not brief and make any jokes about the Air Force today, right? Okay, because that's not my thing. I'm not good at it. And I'm not sure it would serve any useful purpose either. So on a completely different note, the best messenger to help shape our military of the future, in the force coming forward, is you all the cadets, soon to be lieutenants. I ask for your support in educating and encouraging exceptional people like yourselves that are out in our communities, cities, schools, to join our winning team. Less than 10% of the American population has ever put on a uniform. And I think it's closer to like 7 or 8. Your choice to become an officer is an honorable one. And I want you to share your experiences with others. Help educate the American public about what it means to serve. And some of you in the audience have service. I can see the uniforms, and others may not be wearing it, but I know that you've been out there and have done your service as well. Whether you choose to serve on active duty in the Air Force or the Space Force, in the Air National Guard, Air Reserve, or transition to one of the other services, know that you are becoming a part of the world's finest fighting force. In closing, my charge is to you. Find that person or people who will be honest and provide that candid advice. Look 2 positions ahead and then strive to get there. Don't worry about your weaknesses. Focus on and cultivate your strengths. Not everyone is meant to be a comedian. And remember, as junior officers, you represent one of the finest institutions in America. Be an example for airmen and guardians and future generations to emulate. Tell your stories of service so that others may follow in your footsteps. Thank you for all of your hard work, and most importantly, for the decision and commitment to serve our great nation. Congratulations.
Lieutenant General Daniels, our commissionees have brought a small token of their appreciation to thank you for being with them today. Thank you, Lieutenant General Daniels, for your words of wisdom for our commissionees. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving Lieutenant General Daniels one more round of applause. And now, we find ourselves at the moment you all have waited for. It is time to officially swear in our commissionees. During this portion of the ceremony, each cadet will take the oath of office, which will be administered by a commissioned officer of their choosing. The oath, along with the bond and commitment that it embodies, will forever connect these patriots, whether airman or guardian, with American heroes, past, present, and future. Upon taking the oath, the new commissionee will be awarded a certificate of commissioning by which the President of the United States appoints the officer as his second lieutenant, indicating special trust and confidence in their patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities. Following the oath, you will witness two additional brief ceremonies. First, family members of our newly commissioned lieutenant will join the new officer on stage to pin on their second lieutenant ranks. The second ceremony is the time-honored tradition of the first salute. A silver dollar is given to the first enlisted military member who salutes a newly commissioned officer. This practice is an expression of respect from one professional to another. A thank you for acts both done and yet to come. Our new second lieutenants have selected someone for the ceremony who has helped them in a similar fashion along the way. After these ceremonies, our new officers will be presented with two special gifts, a flag and a coin, both of which hold special significance. Today, after completing basic or officer training, all airmen, enlisted and officer, earn an airman's coin, marking the end of their time as a trainee. Lieutenant General Daniels will present the commissionees with their airman's coins to be carried with them always, bearing witness to their identity as an American airman. The second gift is an American flag that was flown over the campus of NC State at the Memorial Bell Tower in honor of their transition from cadet to officer. This gift is presented by Lieutenant Colonel Burkamp on behalf of all Det 595 cadre. Commissionees, without further ado, please come forward when I call your name. Cadet Josh Coe, please come forward with Air Force Major Charlie Lawrence III, who will administer the oath of office. Cadet Coe is graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering. He will commission as a Munitions and Missile Maintenance Officer and will be stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana.
I, Joshua Killico, having been appointed as Second Lieutenant in the United States Air Force, I've been appointed Second Lieutenant in the United States Air Force, do solemnly swear to uphold, to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and I take this obligation freely, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God. All right.
Second Lieutenant Coe's ranks will now be pinned on by his mother, Cynthia Coe, his brother, Micah Coe, and his aunt, Sharice Allen. Please join him on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Joshua C. Coe, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Coe's first salute will be rendered by Air Force Senior Airman Abigail L. Faulkner. Please join him on stage. Thank you all and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Coe. Cadet Dylan Curtis, please come forward with Air Force Major Madeline Rhodes, who will administer the oath of office. Cadet Curtis is graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in Aerospace Engineering. He will commission as a Space Force officer and will be stationed at Peterson Space Force Base in Colorado.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Dylan Curtis,
Having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Second Lieutenant Curtis's ranks will now be pinned on by his mother, Holly Curtis, his father, Brian Curtis, and his siblings, Maddie and Braden Curtis. Please join him on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Dylan T. Curtis, United States Space Force. Second Lieutenant Curtis's first salute will be rendered by his grandfather, Charles Curtis, who served in the U.S. Army as a Specialist 5. Please join him on stage. Thank you all, and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Curtis. Cadet Thomas Gigon, please come forward with your father, U.S. Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel Retired Gerald C. Gigon, who will administer the oath of office. Cadet Gigon is graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in Aerospace Engineering. He will commission as a developmental engineer and will be stationed at the Air Force Institute of Technology at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio.
I state your name.
I, Thomas Richard Gigon,
Having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force, do solemnly swear
having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
That I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
That I will faithfully and discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Where's the camera? Did your mother get enough photographs?
Second Lieutenant Gigon's ranks will now be pinned on by his father, Gerald Gigon, his mother, Edna Gigon, his sister, Elaine Gigon, and his grandmother, Barbara Gigon. Please join him on stage.
My mom. I appreciate that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Thomas R. Gigon, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Gigon's first salute will be rendered by U.S. Air Force Master Sergeant Corey M. Partridge Reed. Please join him on stage. Thank you all, and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Gigon. Cadet William Graham, please come forward with U.S. Air Force Major Madeline Rhodes, who will administer the oath of office. Cadet Graham is graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science. He will commission as a Logistics Readiness Officer and will be stationed at Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name,
I, William White Graham,
having been appointed a second lieutenant
having been appointed a second lieutenant
in the United States Air Force,
in in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental
reservation
or purpose of evasion,
and
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you so much.
Second Lieutenant Graham's ranks will now be pinned on by his father, Robert Graham, his mother, Kimberly Graham, and his fiancee, Emery Guth. Please join him on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant William W. Graham, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Graham's first salute will be rendered by U.S. Air Force Senior Airman Verlin K. Harper. Please join him on stage. Thank you all, and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Graham. Cadet Madison Herring, please come forward with U.S. Air Force Major Kristen S. McCoy, who will administer the oath of office. Cadet Herring is graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering. She will commission as a pilot and will be stationed at Columbus Air Force Base, Mississippi. Second Lieutenant Herring's ranks will now be pinned on by her mother, Marcia Herring, her father, Benton Herring, and her grandfather, George Herring. Please join her on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Masson T. Herring, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Herring's first salute will be rendered by U.S. Army Sergeant Retired Eddie Price. Please join her on stage. Thank you all and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Herring. Cadet Mason Hooks, please come forward with U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Retired Stephen P. Jordan, who will administer the oath of office. Cadet Hooks is graduating with a Bachelor of Science and degree in Aerospace Engineering. He will commission as a pilot and will be stationed at Shepherd Air Force Base, Texas. Cadet Hooks is recognized as a distinguished graduate of the Air Force ROTC program, finishing in the top 10% of his commissioning class.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Mason Scott Hooks,
Having been appointed
a
Second Lieutenant United States Air Force,
Second Lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support and defend
to support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same.
that I will take this obligation freely
I'll take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Second Lieutenant Hooks' ranks will now be pinned on by his fiancée, Charity Stallings, his father, Jay Hooks, and his mother, Amanda Hooks. Please join him on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Mason S. Hooks, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Hooks' first salute will be rendered by U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Gabrielle F. Torres. Please join him on stage. Thank you all and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Hooks. Cadet Christina Howell, please come forward with U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Retired Stephen P. Jordan, who will administer the oath of office. Cadet Howell is graduating with 2 Bachelor of Science degrees in biology and psychology. She will commission as an Air Force Support Officer and will be stationed at MacDill Air Force Base, Florida.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Christina Sawyer Howell,
Having been appointed
a
Second Lieutenant United States Air Force,
Second Lieutenant of the United States Air Force,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
of the office of which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Howell's ranks will now be pinned on by her sister, Gina Howell, her sister, Tiara Howell, and her fiance, DeAndre Gleaves. Please join her on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Christina S. Howell, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Howell's first salute will be rendered by U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Gabrielle F. Torres. Please join her on stage. Thank you and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Howell. Cadet Mary Langer, please come forward with U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Retired Stephen P. Jordan, who will administer the oath of office. Cadet Langer is graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in biology. She will commission as a Force Support Officer and will be stationed at Barksdale Air Force Base, Louisiana.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Mary Ann Langer,
Having been appointed
having been appointed
a Second Lieutenant United States Air Force,
Second Lieutenant United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Langer's ranks will now be pinned on by her mother, Deborah Langer, her father, Anthony Langer, and her sister, Laura Langer. Please join her on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Mary Langer, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Langer's first salute will be rendered by U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Gabrielle F. Torres. Please join her on stage. Thank you all, and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Langer. Cadet Jackson Lanzafama, please come forward with your father, U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Retired Michael Lanzafama, who will administer the oath of office. Cadet Lanzafama is graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Engineering. He will commission as a pilot and will be stationed at Vance Air Force Base, Oklahoma.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name,
I, Jackson Lanzafama,
having been appointed a second lieutenant
having been appointed a second lieutenant
in the United States Air Force,
in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will support and defend
I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and
and
I will well and faithfully execute the duties of the office I am about to enter.
that I will well and faithfully execute the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Second Lieutenant Lanzafama's ranks will now be pinned on by his father, Michael Lanzafama, his mother, Autumn Lanzafama, and his fiancee, Alex Buchanan. Please join him on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Jackson Lanzafama, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Lanzafama's first salute will be rendered by his uncle, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Alexander Burt. Please join him on stage. Thank you and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Lanzafama. Cadet Caden Lewis, please come forward with U.S. Air Force Colonel David Erpelding, who will administer the oath of office. Cadet Lewis is graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science. He will commission as a remotely piloted aircraft pilot and will be stationed at Randolph Air Force Base, Texas.
I, Kate Michael Lewis, having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office of which I'm about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Lewis's ranks will now be pinned on by his father, Gary Lewis, his mother, Janet Lewis, and his brother, Alexander Lewis. Please join him on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Caden M. Lewis, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Lewis's first salute will be rendered by Bill Lux, who served in the U.S. Army as a specialist. Please join him on stage.
Ornamental team.
Thank you all, and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Lewis. Cadet Rachel Londy, please come forward with U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, retired Stephen P. Jordan, who will administer the oath of office. Cadet Londy is graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science. She will commission as a Space Force officer and will be stationed at Peterson Space Force Base, Colorado.
I state your full name.
I, Rachel Catherine Londy,
Having been appointed
having been appointed
a Second Lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
a Second Lieutenant in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Londy's ranks will now be pinned on by her mother, Joanne Londy, her father, David Londy, her brother, Nathan Londy, and her grandmother, Linda Hinton. Please join her on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Rachel K. Londy, United States Space Force. Second Lieutenant Londy's first salute will be rendered by her father, David Londy, who served as a specialist in the U.S. Army. Please join her on stage. Thank you all, and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Londy. Cadets Justin Saluzio, please come forward with U.S. Army Second Lieutenant Joseph Maganaro, who will administer the oath of office. Cadet Saluzio is graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics. He will commission as a pilot and will be stationed at Vance Air Force Base, Oklahoma.
I, Justin Vincent Saluzio, having been appointed Second Lieutenant in the United States Air Force, appointed Second Lieutenant in the United States Air Force, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
Second Lieutenant Saluzio's ranks will now be pinned on by his mother, Janine Saluzio, his father, Thomas Saluzio, and his brother, Joseph Saluzio. Please join him on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Justin V. Saluzio, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Saluzio's first salute will be rendered by U.S. Air Force Master Sergeant Corey M. Partridge Reed. Please join him on stage. Thank you all, and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Saluzio. Cadet Julian Teague, please come forward. Cadet Teague is graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering. He will commission as a Civil Engineering Officer and will be stationed at the Air Force Institute of Technology at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Julian Elijah Teague,
Having been appointed as Second Lieutenant in the United States Air Force, do solemnly swear
having been appointed as Second Lieutenant in the United States Air Force, do solemnly swear
to support and defend the Constitution of the United States
to support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I'm back. Second Lieutenant Teague's ranks will now be pinned on by his mother, Blair White, his stepfather, Kevin White, and his girlfriend, Etop Bow. Please join him on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant Julian E. Teague, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Teague's first salute will be rendered by U.S. Air Force Master Sergeant Corey M. Partridge Reed. Thank you all, and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Teague. I think that was our last one, right? Cadet William Tye, please come forward with U.S. Air Force Major Madeline Rhodes, who will administer the oath of office. Cadet Tye is graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in biochemistry. He will commission as a logistics readiness officer and will be stationed at Ramstein Air Base, Germany.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, William Hunter Tye,
Having been appointed a second lieutenant
having been appointed a second lieutenant
in the United States Air Force,
in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I will well and faithfully,
that I will well and faithfully,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
Second Lieutenant Tye's ranks will now be pinned on by his mother, Cassandra Tye, his father, Michael Tye, and his sister, Ryan Tye. Please join him on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Second Lieutenant William H. Tye, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Tye's first salute will be rendered by his cousin, U.S. Marine Corps Sergeant Major retired, Brian Link. Please join him on stage. Thank you all, and congratulations, Second Lieutenant Tye. At this time, I would like to invite our new second lieutenants to come forward onto the stage. The second lieutenants standing before you, now officers in the world's greatest Air Force and Space Force, epitomize our core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. The Department of the Air Force and the United States have gained 14 great officers. On behalf of the staff, cadre, and cadets of Air Force ROTC Detachment 595, we wish each of you the best. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving our second lieutenants one final round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude our Spring 2025 Air Force ROTC commissioning ceremony, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize Cadet Rank, Cadet C, Cadet Laddick, and Cadet Sheeran and Cadet Buchanan, who worked very hard to make this significant event a success. Great job, and thank you. At the conclusion of the ceremony, friends and family are welcome to come forward to take additional photos. Before we conclude, our new lieutenants will break it down for us one last time, then lead us in singing the Air Force song. The words to the first verse of the Air Force song can be found on the second to last page inside your program. Please stand for the singing of the Air Force song and remain standing for the departure of the official party. Following today's ceremony, please join us for a reception on the other side of the room. New second lieutenants, please do not forget to see Master Sergeant Partridge Reed after this to sign your paperwork. Go ahead and you're free to break it down one last time.
Stand by. Wolfpack. Warriors. Wolfpack. Warriors. Start alone. Peace together.
How dare you? How dare you? This officially concludes the Spring 2025 commissioning ceremony. Congratulations once again to our second lieutenants.